This is a reading from the Virgin Mary in the writings of Maria Valtorta by Father Gabriel M. Roschini, OSM. Since the apostles and their successors have a complete share of the priesthood, it is not without grounds that Jesus deigned to give Our Lady the title of Queen of the Priesthood. Ibid, page 29. Queen of Virgins. One afternoon before Christ's ascension, the Blessed Virgin was in Lazarus' home in Bethany. The most faithful women disciples were gathered round her in a well-ventilated room. Bartholomew the apostle at one point looked at this group of virgin disciples. They blushed as if sunset rays touched them. Actually, it is a spiritual flame of intense joys that is setting their faces on fire. Mary, the Virgin of Virgins, smiles silently and bows her head. Wearing white linen, she seems to be a lily clothed with candor. Poema 10, page 235. Virgin of Virgins. The innumerable troop of chosen Christian virgins was born, so to speak, in Nazareth, in Mary's humble home, during the second year of her divine Son's public ministry. Jesus, with Peter, Andrew, and John, knocks at the door of his house in Nazareth. The door is opened at once by his mother, whose face brightens with a beautiful smile on seeing Jesus. "Welcome home, my son. Since yesterday I have had with me a pure dove waiting for you. She came from far away. The person who brought her here could not stay longer, as she asked for my advice. I told her what I could, but only you, my son, are the wisdom. You are welcome too," she says to the disciples. "Come in and refresh yourselves. Yes, stay here. I am going at once to see the girl who is waiting for me." The three disciples are very curious, but show their curiosity in different ways. Jesus pays no attention to any of them, while the three make up their minds and go into the kitchen, where Mary offers them some food in the warmth of the fireplace. Jesus draws the curtain that conceals the door opening onto the kitchen garden and goes out into it. The mild sunshine makes more airy and dreamlike all the blooming branches of the tall almond tree, the only tree in blossom. The tallest in the kitchen garden looks splendid in its silk, white pink dress, compared with the poverty of all the others. Jesus, with his arms folded on his chest, standing in the sun, smiles at the serene gracefulness of his mother's kitchen garden, with its bed of lilies, recognizable from their first leaves, its still bare rose bushes, and silvery olive leaves, and many other families of flowers spread among the humble beds of legumes and vegetables, which are just becoming green. Clean, tidy, and unassuming, it also seems to exhale the purity of perfect virginity. "Son, come to my room. I will bring her to you," because she ran out there to the other end when she heard so many voices. Jesus enters his mother's room, the most chaste little room, which heard the words of the angelical conversation, and which exhales even more than the kitchen garden the virginal, angelical, holy essence of her who has lived in it for years, and of the archangel who venerated his queen in it. The curtain is softly raised by Mary's hand. Jesus, who was contemplating that abode of purity, standing with his back to the door, turns around. "Here, my son, I have brought her to you. She is a little lamb. You are her shepherd." And Mary, who has come in holding by the hand a slender brunette young girl, who blushes vehemently when she appears in Jesus' presence, quietly withdraws, letting the curtain down. "Peace to you, child." "Peace, Lord." The girl, deeply moved, is speechless, but she kneels down and bows her head. "Stand up. What do you want from me? Do not be afraid." "I am not afraid, but now that I am in front of you, after longing so much, what seemed easy and necessary to tell you, I cannot remember. It does not seem what it was. I am silly. Forgive me, Lord." "Forgive me, my Lord. Do you want a grace for this world?" Footnote 130. D2 bears the following note. Jesus already knew and also remembered that he had healed her. See further. But he wanted souls to open up freely and with complete trust. "Do you want a grace for this world? Do you need a miracle? Have you souls to convert? No? What then? Speak up. You had so much courage and now are losing heart? Do you not know that I am the one who increases strength? Yes, you do? Well then, speak as if I were a father to you. You are young. How old are you? 16 years, my lord. Where have you come from? From Jerusalem. What is your name? Anna, Anna, the dear name of my grandmother, and of many more holy women of Israel, and joined to it to make one only, the name of the good, faithful, loving, meek wife of Jacob, Leah. It will be a good omen to you. You will be a model wife and mother. No? You are shaking your head? You are weeping? Have you been rejected? No? Your fiancé perhaps died. Has no one proposed to you yet? The girl always shakes her head. Jesus takes a step forward, caresses her, and forces her to raise her head and look at him. Jesus' smile overcomes the girl's agitation. She takes heart. My lord, I could be a wife, and a happy one, thanks to you. Do you not recognize me, my lord? I am the girl who suffered from tuberculosis, the dying fiancé whom you cured at your John's request. After your grace, I have had another body, this healthy one in the place of the dying one I had before, and I have had another soul. I do not know. I did not feel the same. The joy of being cured, and consequently the certainty I could get married. My regret in dying was that I could not get married. They only lasted for a few hours, and then the girl becomes more and more confident. She finds the words and the idea that she had lost in the awesomeness of being alone with the Master. And then I felt that I should not be only selfish and say only, now I will be happy, but that I should think of something else, something that came to you and to God, your Father and mine. Something that, although small, should express my gratitude. I gave the matter a lot of thought, and when the following Sabbath I saw my fiancé, I said to him, Listen, Samuel, without the miracle I would have died in a few months' time, and you would have lost me forever. Now I would like to offer a sacrifice to God with you, to say to God that I praise him and thank him. And Samuel, because he loves me, said at once, Let us go to the temple together and offer a sacrifice. But that was not what I wanted. I am a poor and common girl, my lord. I know very little, and I can do much less. But through your hand which you laid on my diseased breast, something had come not only into my corroded lungs, but also into my heart. It was health to my lungs, and wisdom to my heart. And I realized that the sacrifice of a lamb was not the sacrifice wanted by my soul that loved you. The girl becomes silent, blushing after her profession of love. Go on, without any fear. What did your soul want? To sacrifice something worthy of you, the Son of God. And so I thought it would be something spiritual, like what comes from God. That is, the sacrifice of postponing my wedding for your sake, my Savior. A wedding, you know, is a great joy. When one is in love, it is a great thing. One is anxious to celebrate it. But I was no longer the same person as a few days previously. I no longer wanted my wedding as the dearest thing. I told Samuel, and he understood me. He also wanted to be a Nazirite. Footnote 131. See the book of Numbers, chapter 6. For 1 year, starting on the day which was to be the day of our wedding, that is, the day after the kalends of Adar, in the meantime, he has been looking for you because he wanted to love and know him. He has been looking for you because he wanted to love and know him who had given him back his fiancée, you, and he found you after many months at the Clearwater. I came too, and your word completed the change of my heart. Now, my previous vow is no longer sufficient for me, like that almond tree out there, which in the warmer and warmer sunshine has revived after being dead for months, and has blossomed and will leaf and then bear fruit. So I have continuously grown in the knowledge of what is better. The last time, when I was already sure of myself and of what I wanted, I have pondered on the matters all these past months. The last time I went to the Clearwater, you were no longer there. They had driven you away. I wept and prayed so much that the Most High heard me and persuaded my mother to send me here with a relative who was going to Tiberias, to speak to the courtiers of the Tetrarch. The steward told me that I would find you here. I found your mother and her words. Only listening to her and being beside her these 2 days have completely matured the fruit of your grace." The girl has knelt down as if she were in front of an altar, her arms folded on her chest. "All right, but what do you want exactly? What can I do for you?" "Lord, I would like a great thing, and only you, the donor of life and health, can give it to me, because I think that what you can give, you can also take away. I would like you to take the life you gave me during the year of my vow, before it ends." "Why? Are you not grateful to God for the life you received?" "So grateful, infinitely, but for one thing only, because by living by His grace and by your miracle, I have understood what is best, which is to live like angels, as your mother, my Lord, as you live, as your John lives. The 3 lilies, the 3 white flames, the 3 beatitudes of the earth, my Lord. Yes, because I think that it is a beatitude to possess God, and God is possessed by the pure. I believe that who is pure is a heaven with God in its center and the angels around. Oh, my Lord, that is what I would like. Little have I heard of what you, your mother, the disciples, and Isaac have said. Neither have I approached anyone else who could tell me your words, but I feel as if my soul heard you all the time, and you were its master. I have told you everything, my Lord." Analea, "You are asking for very much, and are giving very much. Daughter, you have understood God, and the perfection to which a creature may rise, to be like the most pure, and to please the most pure." Jesus has laid his hands on the sides of the head of the dark-haired girl who is kneeling in front of him, and speaks, bending over her. "He who was born of a virgin, because he could but build his nest on a pile of lilies, is nauseated, my dear daughter, by the triple lechery of the world, and he would be crushed by so much nausea if his Father, who knows on what his Son lives, did not intervene with loving help to support my soul in anguish. The pure are my joy. You are giving me what the world takes from me through its unexhausted baseness. May the Father and you, dear girl, be blessed for that. Go happily. Something will intervene to make your vow an eternal one. Be one of the lilies scattered on the blood-stained ways of Christ." "Oh, my Lord, there is still one thing I would like." "Which?" "Not to be present at your death. I would not see him die who is my life." Jesus smiles kindly, and with his hand he wipes off the tears streaming down her little dark face. "Do not weep. Lilies are never in mourning. You shall smile with all the pearls of your angelical crown when you see the crowned King enter his kingdom. Go. May the Spirit of the Lord teach you while I am away. I bless you with the fire of eternal love." Jesus looks out onto the kitchen garden and calls, "Mother, here is a little daughter. She is all yours. She is now happy, but immerse her in your purity every time we go to the holy city, that she may become snow of celestial petals spread on the throne of the Lamb." And Jesus goes back to his disciples, while Mary caresses the girl and stays with her. Peter, Andrew, and John look at him inquisitively, and Jesus' bright face tells them that he is happy. Peter cannot help asking, "To whom did you speak so long, my master? And what have you heard to be so beaming with joy?" "To a woman at the dawn of life, to her who will be the dawn of many more that will come." "Who?" "The virgins." Andrew mumbles in a low voice to himself, "It is not her." Footnote 132. Andrew was looking forward to the day when Aglae, whom he had taught secretly, would come to see Jesus. "No, it is not she, but do not tire of praying. Be good and patient. Every word of your prayer is like a call, a light in the dark, and it supports and guides her. But who is my brother waiting for?" "For a soul, Peter, a great poverty that he wants to change into a great wealth." "And where did Andrew find it, since he never goes about? He never speaks, and he is a helpless sort of man." "On my way. Come with me, Andrew. Let us go and see Alphaeus of Sarah, and bless him amongst his many grandchildren. You wait for me at James and Judas Thaddeus' house. My mother wants to be left alone all day." And while they go away, some here, some there, secrecy envelops the joy of the first girl consecrated to virginity for Christ's sake. Poema 3, page 72 to 77. The following day, Jesus spoke to the women disciples, and he said, "Yesterday a girl asked me to immolate her before the hour of her wedding strikes, because she feels that she loves me as God is to be loved, that is, with her whole self, with the absolute perfections of giving herself, and I will do it. I have concealed the hour from her, that her soul may not tremble with fear, or her body more than her soul. Her death will be like the end of a flower that closes its corolla in the evening, thinking it will reopen it the following day, but never opens it again, because the kiss of the night has sucked its life. And I will do it according to her desire, by bringing forward her repose of death to a few days before mine, so that this first virgin of mine may not be kept waiting in limbo, and I may find her immediately after my death. Do not weep. I am the Redeemer. This holy girl did not ask to follow me, but she did not limit herself to hosannas immediately after the miracle, but she worked the miracle as if it were money invested at an interest, and from human gratitude she passed to a supernatural one, from an earthly desire to a heavenly one, showing a maturity of spirit which is superior to almost everybody else's. I say almost, because amongst you who are listening to me, there are perfections that are equal and even greater. She did not ask to follow me. Nay, she showed the desire to accomplish her transformation from a girl to an angel in the secrecy of her abode. And I love her so much that in the hours of disgust at what the world is, I will recall this kind creature, blessing the Father who wipes away my tears and perspiration of a master in a world that does not want me, by means of such flowers of love and purity. Poema 3, page 81. In the third year of Jesus' public ministry, an episode which occurs in Johanna of Cusa's house illuminates the Queen of Virgins brightly. All of Jesus' women disciples who were in Jerusalem on the Thursday before Passover are busy with Mary. They help Johanna and her husband to prepare a meal for beggars, orphans, cripples, the blind, and elderly people. At one point, Jesus chances upon Analea, the first consecrated virgin, and Jairus' daughter, the one he raised from the dead. Overhearing Analea calling Jairus' daughter by the name of Miriam, Jesus asks her, "But when did you change your name to Miriam?" "Today, just now. Your mother gave me it, because is that right, Analea? This is a great day for 4 virgins." "Yes, it is. Shall we tell the Lord, or shall we let Mary tell him?" "Let Mary tell him. Go, my Lord, your mother will tell you." And they run away nimbly. Poema 5, page 477. Jesus climbs to the roof deck and greets several women gathered there, not all of them disciples. Mary is at his side. In the golden light filtering through the large velarium spread over most of the terrace, and which becomes a delicate emerald light where it reaches faces after filtering through entangled rose bushes and jasmines forming a pergola, she looks even younger and slimmer, a sister of the younger women disciples, just a little older, and as beautiful as the most beautiful of the roses blooming in the hanging garden, or in the large flower pots placed around it, and containing roses, jasmines, lilies of the valley, and other delicate plants. "Mother, my wife has spoken in a strange way. What happened? Why did she say that she is crippled and crowned at the same time?" asks Philip, who is anxious to know. Mary smiles kindly, looking at him, and although she is averse to familiarities, she takes his hand, saying, "Would you be able to give my Jesus what is dearest to you? You really ought to, because he gives you heaven and the way to get there." "Of course I would, Mother, particularly if what I give him would make him happy." "It would, Philip. Your daughter also is consecrating herself to the Lord. She told me and her mother a little while ago, in the presence of many women disciples." "What? You?" exclaims Philip, dumbfounded, pointing his finger at the gentle girl, who clings to Mary as if she wished to be protected. The apostle swallows with difficulty this second blow that deprives him for good of the hope of having grandchildren. He wipes the sudden flow of perspiration caused by the news, and he looks at the people around him. He is struggling and suffering. His daughter moans, "Father, forgive me and bless me," and she throws herself at his feet. Philip caresses her brown hair absent-mindedly and clears his throat. At last he speaks. One forgives children who commit sins. By consecrating yourself to the Master, you are not committing a sin, and your poor father can but say to you, "May you be blessed." Ah, my daughter, how sweet and terrible is the will of God. And he bends, lifts his daughter, embraces her, kissing her forehead and hair. He then moves towards Jesus and says to him, "Here, I am her father, but you are her God. Your right is stronger than mine. Thank you, Lord, for the joy that," and he cannot go on. He kneels at Jesus' feet and bends to kiss them, moaning, "No grandchildren, never. My dream, the smile of my old age. Forgive my tears, my Lord. I am a poor man. Stand up, my dear friend, and be happy, because you are giving the early flowers to the angelical flower beds. Come here between me and my mother. Let us hear from her how this happened, because I can assure you that I am neither to be blamed or praised for it." Footnote 133. In other words, I am not responsible for this in any way. Mary explains, "I know very little myself. We women were speaking to one another, and as often is the case, they were asking me about my virginal vows. They were also asking me what future virgins will be like, which work and which glory I foresaw for them, and I was replying as best as I could, and I foresaw for them a life of prayer and of relief to the suffering caused to my Jesus by the world. I said, it will be the virgins who will support the apostles and will purify the foul world, clothing and scenting it with their purity. They will be the angels singing praises to cover up the blasphemy of the world. And Jesus will be happy and will grant graces to the world and will have mercy on it, thanks to these lambs spread among wolves." And I was saying other things. Jairus' daughter then said to me, "Give me a name, mother, for my future as a virgin, because I cannot allow any man to have pleasure out of my body, which was revived by Jesus. This body of mine belongs to him only until its flesh is in the grave and its soul in heaven." And Analea said, "That is what I also felt I should do, and now I feel happier than a swallow, because all ties are broken." It was then that your daughter, Philip, said, "I will be like you too, a virgin forever." Her mother, there she is coming, pointed out to her that one cannot take such a decision just like that, but she would not change her mind. And when she was asked whether it was an old idea she replied no, and to those who asked how she got it, she said, "I do not know. It was as if a beam of light had pierced my heart, and I understood of what love I love Jesus." Philip's wife asks him, "Have you heard what? Heard that?" "Yes, woman. Our flesh moans, whereas it should rejoice, because this is its glorification. Our heavy flesh has procreated to angels. Do not weep, woman. You said yourself that he has crowned you. A queen does not weep when she receives her crown." But Philip is weeping as well. And many more, both men and women, are weeping, now that they are all gathered on the terrace. Mary of Simon has burst into unrestrained weeping in a corner. Mary of Magdala is weeping in another corner, pulling and twisting her linen dress, from which she absent-mindedly tears off the threads, trimming the hem. Anastasica is weeping, and she tries to conceal her sorrowful face with her hand. "Why are you weeping?" asks Jesus. No one replies. Jesus calls Anastasica and asks her once again. She replies, "Because, Lord, for the nauseating pleasure of one night only, I lost the possibility of being one of your virgins." Footnote 134. Anastasica had been married legitimately, but her lewd husband divorced her shortly after marrying her. See Poema 5, page 385-86 and 435, editor. Every condition is good, if one serves the Lord in it. In the future church, both virgins and matrons will be required. They are both useful for the triumph of the kingdom of God in the world, and for the work of their brother priests. Poema 5, page 478-480.